This is Jill Scott.
Hey, this is Jennifer Hudson.
Yo, what's up? This is Robin Thicke.
This is Rasan Patterson.
This is Lettuce.
Welcome to this edition of The Artist Lounge with Eric Benet.
Growing up in Milwaukee, I had a beautiful childhood. I had two very loving and overprotective parents. My father was a detective, and Mom, for the most part, stayed at home and kept us in line. And it was five of us, and I was the youngest, and it was just music in our house all the time. It was a beautiful, beautiful way to be brought up. My primary musical influences when I was growing up was really my siblings and my mom and dad, because they all had some very deep tastes in music in their respected different genres that they tended to listen to. Like my mother had a huge gospel music collection. My father had a huge classical music collection. And between my siblings, pretty much represented the spectrum of almost every genre of music. I had a sister that was really into like Olivia Newton-John and Elton John and stuff like that. And then I had another. And my other sister was, into like the Bootsy and the Funkadelic and the James Brown. And my brother was into jazz fusion and very highbrow stuff like Mahavishnu Orchestra and or Stanley Clarke or Jean-Luc Ponty and all that stuff. So and I loved it all. So I was the youngest, and I would sneak into everybody's record collection and just soak it all up. And I think when you listen to my music, it's based in R&B, but I think you can hear some other little things going on in my music. I think I must have been about 10 years old when I actually structured out a song. Like I thought, okay, verse, chorus, bridge. My cousin George was my older cousin. George is like 7 years older than me, and he's a very trained musician, where I just like heard music in my head. And so I let George hear my music, this little song I wrote, and he was pretty surprised. He was like, you came up with this by yourself? And then it was called The Phone. It was like, you called me on the phone. You would not leave me alone. It was a cute little song. It sounded like something like a 10, 11-year-old wrote. I wish they had Disney TV back then. I would have been paid. But and from there, the songs evolved and matured, obviously, and George and I just kept doing it. We brought my sister Lisa in, and Lisa was writing and singing too, and we got our first record deal at EMI. We were called Benet.
Tell me what I should do.
Well, I think when it comes to songwriting, I think why people like me are always singing about relationships is because the strongest and the best songs come from a purely emotional place. When it comes to relationships live in that emotional place. When you're in a relationship, that's the result of whatever you are as an emotional being, what you're giving, what you're taking, how long the relationship lasts. Music and relationships are kind of married that way in their origin. So when I write songs, it usually comes back to like lessons I've learned from being in relationships, wonderful times I've had in relationships, mistakes I've made in relationships, and things that I've learned and grown from. And so, yeah, they definitely go hand in hand. The artist who I listen to today that I'm really into, it's Lettuce and Chrisette Michele. Since they came on the scene, I respected their writing and their unique singing style and their musicianship, and I actually asked them to be a part of my new CD, Lost in Time. And so I'm doing a duet with both of those artists, and really excited about that.
I don't know if you feel it too, but I'm showing up digging you.
Personal obstacle would be, just making time in my personal life when everything is cracking and going off well in the professional world. I think one of my biggest challenges in the professional world is oftentimes when something personal happens in your life, the objective is to get ratings, the objective is to sell magazines. And I'd like to be, the person that says, you know, I don't pay attention to that. I just got to keep it moving. But we're all human beings, and you know, sometimes that stuff kind of affects you and just takes you a while to just keep it moving. My family and my friends mean everything, you know, when it comes to going through the challenges, the hard times in life. I mean, if you don't have family, if you don't have real friends, like Bill Withers said, I mean, we all need somebody to lean on. And if you don't have that, God help you, you know. There are going to be people who really know who and what you are. Those are the people that you know, you lean on and you open up to, and you respect their opinion, or you just need somebody to go, you know, lay on their lap or cry, or and vice versa. And so, I mean, that's everything to me, you know, that kind of support base. Eric Benet Jordan, but y'all didn't know that. Born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I'm going back to the day we parted, and all the ways you were broken-hearted.
You've been inside the Artist Lounge on 96.3 HD2, WHUR-WORLD.com.